On behalf of the Board of Directors, I would like to welcome you all to the celebration of the graduation of the class of 2025. Thank you. Very good. To the parents of our esteemed graduates, thank you for the trust you've placed in the school and for your partnership over the last 4 years. To our dear staff and administration team, thank you for all your hard work and dedication. I do not believe that you will find a more caring and committed group of teachers anywhere, and all of us here owe you all a tremendous debt of gratitude. Of course, I would be remiss without also thanking our partners at Federation, whose work is crucial to the success of our community at large and specifically our school. To the graduates, Mazel Tov on this momentous occasion and achievement. While this might be the end of your high school careers, it really is a new beginning. Hashem's name represents Haya Hoveh V'yiyeh, past, present, and future. All three temporal tenses experienced as one. Our present is the recollection of our past, and concurrently, the anticipation of our future. We relive events such as Yetziat Mitzrayim, Matan Torah, or the culmination of creation with Shabbat, experiencing them over and over again. Our history as Jews is never history, but is the eternal present that guides our every step and shapes our expectations for the future. Your studies over the last 4 years, your friendships and your achievements are the foundation of your future-looking journeys, and we cannot wait to see what you will all achieve, both individually and as part of Am Yisrael. Again, thank you, and Mazel Tov to everyone here.
Good evening again, and welcome to you all, honored rabbis, fellow administrators, and faculty, members of the Board of Directors who are here joining us, of course, our parents, and our wonderful graduates. Welcome and thank you. I must admit that this is the second speech that I prepared for tonight. Once the news broke about Israel's astonishing preemptive strike against Iran and the war that we find ourselves in, my initial draft version seemed much less relevant and perhaps even a bit tone-deaf. This past Friday night, I was walking back from shul with Michael Lax and Rabbi Ilan Mazer, as mentioned, National Director of Mizrahi. Rabbi Mazer was staying in my home, joining me for Friday night dinner as we closed out our election campaign. Some of you may have heard there was an elections. Michael turned to Rabbi Ilan and he said, "We've met so many soldiers in top units over the last 2 years. Many of these were soldiers who were involved in all sorts of different operations. Do you think that we met any of those who were involved in this miraculous precision mission? Did we meet any of those individuals?" Rabbi Mazer turned to Michael and he said, "Absolutely, 100%. He said, "You see, those pilots, they could have been one of many young soldiers who we would have met over the last 2 years, because those pilots are regular guys." And therein lies something incredibly phenomenal that I want to focus on this evening. I spent much of the day on Friday, first half of the day, reaching out to many people throughout Israel. I texted and emailed and made a few phone calls to various alumni, a few current students still studying in Yeshiva who haven't gotten back yet, as well as some of our supporters. My texts were very brief and really to the point, something to the effect of, "We're thinking about you, stay safe, we're praying, we're hoping," and I ended off with a short prayer at the end. As an aside, it really was very well received, and anyone who wants to reach out to some of our shlichim or closely connected people to Toronto, it really is a beautiful thing. I texted the father of one BAS family who recently made Aliyah, and he wrote back the following. He said, "Let's not forget that these kids who are on the front lines are young women and men who in most cases are just regular people who are fighting this war on behalf of the Jewish people around the world." Arutz Sheva even reported a story on Friday of a young pilot, a graduate of the Hesder Yeshiva in Sderot, who got married on Thursday night. After the wedding, and this hits close to home for me, he drove his new bride to her parents' house and continued straight to his base, jumped on a plane, and then participated in the attack. You see, in Israel, heroes working in secret units or the courageous pilots could be the person standing next to you in the supermarket, or they could be the person sitting next to you on a train, or honking at you from the car right behind you. They could be your neighbor, and you simply wouldn't know it. Ordinary Israelis who are superheroes. My dear graduates, although we are over 5,000 miles away from Yerushalayim, please understand that Jewish destiny rests on your shoulders too. There were no communal tefillot that were allowed this past Shabbos in Israel, and a friend of mine told me that he never felt so much responsibility on his shoulders involved in his tefillot. And point number one is it's exactly the same thing here. Our tefillot, our prayers, they absolutely make a difference. But it's not just our tefillot. Each and every one of you has the power to impact the lives of others. Not just your thoughts and your words, but your actions as well. The next chapter in the history of our people is being written, and you will be its authors. Since October 7th, we've learned many lessons as a people, but one of which is the power and the impact of the individual. Last year on Yom HaAtzmaut, Medinat Yisrael bestowed the highest honor in the ceremony of lighting a torch to 12 heroic individuals who risked their lives and accomplished amazing feats on October 7th. These were regular people. Recently, author Nachman published a book called Anachnu Baderech, We Are on Our Way, highlighting tales of ordinary citizens who became superhuman and did extraordinary things on October 7th. And the book is in the process of being translated. In many cases, some of the heroes in this tale were just stepping up to help in small ways. We do not need to be heroes to make a huge difference. We simply need to try and be the best version of ourselves. Israel author Chaim once recounted, I think, an amazing line. He said he was once a child walking around Yerushalayim, and he bumped into Rabbi Aryeh Levin, the great tzaddik of Yerushalayim, and he couldn't help himself. So he turned to him and he said, is it true? They say that you are one of the Lamed Vav tzaddikim. Is that really true? Is it really you? And Rabbi Aryeh Levin smiled at him and replied with one word. He said, sometimes. How true is that for all of us? Sometimes we do great things. I remember when Rabbi Moshe Tarragon's son Noam got injured. I called Rabbi Tarragon periodically. I marveled at the end to Rabbi Tarragon at how Rabbi Tarragon's strength was unbelievable. Continued to give lectures and shiurim and classes, and then even wrote a book. Rabbi Tarragon turned to me and he said, really, Seth, let me tell you, I'm not that special. I'm only doing what we would all do. Now, lo aleinu, of course, and none of us should ever be tested. But his point was that deep down, we all have the capacity and the ability to accomplish great things. I want to be very clear and make sure that my words this evening are not misunderstood, and I even bolded this in my script. Some of you will make aliyah, many of you will make aliyah, and some of you will serve in various roles in Tzahal. However, you do not need to live in Israel or fight in the IDF to accomplish extraordinary things. All of you can, from anywhere around the world. Jewish growth and success in the diaspora is built on leaders and active participants, women and men, young and old, each of whom is passionate about helping our people. We have to support America, and we have the support of America, and sometimes even Canada, in this war because of hundreds of Jews around the world who work so hard on behalf of the Jewish people. There are active Jewish participants and community leaders in all countries who have organized hundreds of millions of dollars of support to be sent to Israel over these last 2 years. Some leaders have been able to give personally, and others have been able to collect. Others helped organize, packed huge amounts of goods that were sent to Israel. Mizrahi Canada organized a number of missions to Israel, and they brought great chizuk and strength to our sisters and brothers in Israel. They have felt our love and care. The letters we have written, the videos we have sent, all of this has had a real impact. Our shlichim have led many of these efforts, and they have to be praised for that. And each of you, our graduates, have stepped up in a big way. As Rabbi Sachs writes in his short work, A Letter to the Next Generation, everything Rabbi Sachs says is beautiful. He says, Jews have had an influence out of proportion to their numbers because they believed in the individual and his or her power to change the world for the better. The question to think about as you're moments away from graduation, is how can I join the list of impactful members of the Jewish world community? How can I contribute meaningfully to Klal Yisrael? It's all over. It could be in business. It could be in a not-for-profit organization. It could be as a teacher. It could be in media. It could be as a doctor or even a volunteer. There's so many ways. And if you're thinking, you know what, that's a little bit far ahead, I'm not there yet, no worries. Being a leader can also just mean being there for a friend in need, looking out for people in your community, doing what's right, not what's always easy. As mentioned before, being the best version of yourself. We're about to read Parshat Shlach, in which Yehoshua and Kalev could easily have followed the crowd and not gone against the tide. But they did speak up, and they changed the course of history. Or Pinchas, who we'll read about in a few weeks. His name is written with a little yud, which indicates, according to some commentators, that he was a little Jew, maybe even a little short, with not that much hair, an ordinary guy. He could have chosen to do nothing. Who was he, after all, compared to all the great Jews and leaders who chose not to intervene? He could have stayed in his comfort zone, but he didn't. He stepped up to save Jews. The Kli Yakar even writes that Pinchas knew that the other Shvatim would regard his actions with disdain, but he stepped up nonetheless because Hashem's honor was more important to him than his own prestige. And this past Shabbat, just 2 days ago, we read about how Moshe went ahead and appointed 70 elders, Shivim Zekenim, to help him. Rav Baruch Gigi, Rosh Yeshiva of Yeshivat Har Etzion, writes that in each generation, a different 70 elders are chosen to lead. You are graduates. You could be those next 70. Similarly, in the words of Rabbi Sachs, this time in Covenant Conversation on last week's Parsha, he writes, Judaism is not about diffused responsibility, making each individual count. This calls for leaders who inspire others with their vision, delegating, empowering, guiding, encouraging, and making space. That is what God was hinting to Moshe when he told him to take 70 elders and let them stand with him in the tent of meeting. Graduates, I hope your time at Ulpanat and at Chaim has taught you that you can be one of those 70 elders. You can step up and take responsibility. I hope that your Rebbeim and teachers here at BAS have instilled in you an unbreakable and steadfast belief and trust in your own potential, your own abilities to create, to contribute, to give, to grow, and to make a difference in Jews and others around the world. I hope that we have been successful in instilling in you an ironclad commitment to Torah and mitzvot. I hope that we've grounded you in an unshakable and committed faith in HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We are living, as you know, through remarkable times. You have to just open your eyes to see the Yad Hashem in everything that's happening around us. Some can't see it, but it's there, it's clear. I was in tears, I was very emotional when I heard a report that the entire security cabinet in Israel sat around a table and finished saying the entire Sefer Tehillim while their planes were en route to Iran on Thursday evening. The news reported, and I even saw pictures of it, of Bibi Netanyahu going to the Kotel, putting a tallis over his head, and putting the name of the operation in the walls of the Kotel. Many of these Israelis are not necessarily Shomrei Torah u'mitzvot. However, they understand that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is running the show in every single way. We are merely actors and shlichim of Hashem. And as such, there is so much that we can do. Do not be afraid to step up. Do not be afraid to stand up to anti-Semitism or to evil in any form. You have more strength and power than you can imagine. And if you're doing the right thing, Hashem is on your side. As Rabbi Sachs writes in his book, To Heal a Fractured World, when God calls, he does not do so by way of universal imperatives. Instead, he whispers our name. And the greatest reply, the reply of Avraham, is simply, Hineni, here I am, ready to heed your call. to mend a fragment of your all too broken world. Rabbi Sachs continues a bit later on, and he says in the same book, there is no life without a task, no person without a talent, no place without a fragment of God's light waiting to be discovered and redeemed. No situation without its possibility of sanctification, and no moment without its call. I hope that when that call comes, whether it's defending Israel, inventing a product that can heal millions, being a shul president, or joining a board of your local school, or just helping someone up after a physical fall or a difficult time, that each of you will have the courage, the faith, the fortitude to declare, Hineni, I'm here, and I'm ready to help. Closing with Rabbi Sachs, who says, the shaper of history summons us to shape history. The graduates of Ulpanat and Chaim will always, and you will as well, punch above their weight. I guarantee you will be no different. Thank you all for listening. Am Yisrael Chai.
This is a year of milestones. Ulpanat celebrates its 50th anniversary, 5 decades of Jewish education, tradition, and growth. And for me, it marks the close of a 40-year journey filled with teaching, mentoring, and growing alongside generations of students. It's especially meaningful to me to introduce Rena Fixler today as the YOC Valedictorian. Her story is deeply woven into the fabric of this school. She comes from a family whose impact spans generations. Her mother, Sharon, her aunts, the remarkable women of the Weltman family, all proud Ulpanat graduates, all women of strength, integrity, and spirit. And I've had the privilege of teaching them all. Watching their legacy continue through Rena is something truly special. Rena brings their values to life in her own way, staying rooted in their example while forging her own path. Even from her start at Ulpanat in grade 9, Rena excelled in Judaic and general studies. Through tireless dedication, quiet resilience, and a passion for learning, she has also achieved academic excellence, not by chance, but by choice. But greatness isn't just measured in marks. What sets Rena apart from the others is not just her intellect, it's her integrity. It's the way she treats others with kindness and respect. It's the quiet determination she brings to every challenge. And it's the way she carries herself with purpose, compassion, and a genuine desire to make the world better. As Maya Angelou once said, people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. Rena is truly exceptional in the way she lifts others with grace and humility far beyond her years. After hearing a former valedictorian speak when Rena was in grade 9 about the goal of learning a parak of Tanakh each day, Rena made a quiet but powerful commitment. Without fanfare, she began to do the same. She sent daily reminders to her friends, inviting them to join her. This year, she completed all 929 perakim, made a siyum, and in true Rena fashion, simply began again. Her love of Torah is deep, steady, and infectious. It inspires others to reach higher, not just because she tells them to, but because they see how naturally she lives it. Teachers often speak of Rena's generosity, not just in what she gives, but in how she gives. She readily shares her now legendary Quizlets and class notes, always with the goal with helping others succeed. Every teacher who has worked with Rena says the same thing. She is diligent, sincere, thoughtful. She approaches every assignment and project with the utmost professionalism. How special that she writes personalized thank you notes to all her teachers, not just out of politeness, but out of a genuine gratitude. Rena has given herself fully to school throughout her years at Ulpanat, from Shabbatanim and Chesed initiatives to JEP, Matmidot, the Chinuch Committee, and lunchtime learning. She's been a constant presence in every corner of student life. In grade 11, her peers honored her with the title of Rabbanit, recognizing her as someone who truly embodies the values of our school. This year, she was chosen as school ambassador, a role she carries with pride. A fellow student said, "School is 1,000 times better for me because Rena is here." And another said, "Rena always puts others first and is a friend to all." Rena's compassion stands out. In grade 9, she went on a high lifeline trip to Edmonton and bonded with a young girl. That connection became a seed of quiet empathy that has only grown in various aspects of her life. Rena now volunteers twice a week at KCC, giving her time, energy, and compassion to children with special needs with no expectation of thanks. This past Shabbat, we read Parshat Be'ahalucha. Aharon is commanded to light the menorah so its flames shine inward. Our tradition teaches, Ner Hashem Nishmat Adam, the soul of a person is the candle of God. Rena is one of those rare individuals who moves through the world, lighting every space she enters, not with spotlight or spectacle, but with quiet strength and a genuine heart. According to Rabbi Lord Jonathan Sachs of blessed memory, humility is not thinking less of yourself, it is thinking of yourself less. That truth lives in Rena. She leads by example. She does what is right, even when no one is watching. She has never sought the spotlight, yet through her kindness, humility, and integrity, she has become a light among us, a ner tamid, a steady flame of goodness from which we have all learned. In a world that often celebrates those who speak the loudest, Rena has led with a different kind of strength, one that listens, uplifts, and inspires quietly but profoundly. Rena, it has been a true privilege for all of us to watch you grow, lead, and shine. I wish you much hatzlaka as you continue your Torah studies this fall in Israel at Michala. It is now my honor and privilege to call upon this year's recipient of the Nachman Sokol Valedictorian Award for Ulpanat, Rena Fixler.
Thank you, Mrs. Weinberg, for your kind words. Birshus Rosh Yeshiva, rabbis, administrators, faculty, parents, family, and friends. Imagine risking everything, your fortune, safety, even your life, to save total strangers. Who would willingly go to such lengths? Yet that's exactly what Oskar Schindler did during the Holocaust. A wealthy businessman and member of the Nazi Party, focused solely on financial success, Schindler seemed like the last person you'd expect to become a hero. But then, quietly and at enormous personal risk, Schindler began to protect his Jewish factory workers. He spent his fortune bribing Nazi officials and turning his factory into a safe haven. By the end of the war, he had nothing left, except the merit of saving the lives of 1,200 Jews. He risked everything to protect total strangers. Schindler didn't do it because it was popular or easy. He did it because it was right. Schindler wasn't perfect, but he chose to act with integrity when it mattered most. And this year, in Mrs. Lipner's Chumash class, I learned a powerful perush that captures exactly this idea, a very fitting message for our graduation tonight. Sefer Bereshis is famously known as Sefer HaYashar, the Book of the Upright. This designation appears again in Sefer Bamidbar, where Bilam pleads to Hashem, Tamos nafshi mos Yesharim, let me die the death of the Yesharim, referring to the Avos, Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. This pasuk raises several compelling questions. Why does Bilam choose to characterize our forefathers as Yesharim, as opposed to Tzadikim or Chasidim? Furthermore, what is the significance of Sefer Bereshis being uniquely designated as Sefer HaYashar, and why does Bilam aspire to emulate Yashrus in particular? The Netziv offers a profound answer to these questions. He notes that the term Yashar is used to describe Hashem himself in the Song of Ha'azinu, Tzadik v'Yasharhu. Yet, this raises a theological challenge. If Hashem is described as a Yashar, how, for example, could he have permitted the destruction of the second Beis HaMikdash? The Netziv explains that although that generation seemed outwardly righteous, they learned Torah and appeared pious, they lacked Yashrus in their interpersonal relationships. They were judgmental and filled with sinas chinam. This twisted righteousness, devoid of integrity, is what ultimately led to the Chorban. The Netziv teaches that Hashem does not accept actions that lack true Yashrus. True righteousness requires being morally upright in both how we serve Hashem and how we treat others. This was the greatness of the Avos. In addition to being tzadikim, chasidim, and ovdei Hashem, they were also yesharim. The Avos exuded kindness and respect, not because it was easy or even reciprocated, but because it was the right thing to do. So why is Bereshis, the book of creation, also called Sefer HaYashar? Because the Avos not only served Hashem with personal righteousness, but upheld the moral foundation of the world through their commitment to Yashrus, thus sustaining creation itself. When Bilam wished to die the death of the Yesharim, he was expressing a longing to share in the lasting legacy of the Avos, one rooted in building rather than destroying. To the amazing Ulpanat class of 2025, we have built so much together, and what an incredible journey it's been. Thank you for everything. Over the past 4 years, we've learned from one another, laughed together, and built a truly unbreakable bond. I still remember our very first get-together, the night before grade 9, the very beginning of our journey. Since then, we've shared countless unforgettable memories, from our grade 10 Shabbaton at the Best Western Hotel, to the DC rally after October 7th, to winter retreat and our incredible Rabbanit play, to our trip to Mrs. Weinberg's cottage this year, and a phenomenal graduation trip to New York just last week. And now, here we are, at our high school graduation, looking back on 4 amazing years together and looking forward to the wonderful future in store, Amir Hashem. When I look back on our time in Ulpanat, what immediately comes to mind is the overwhelming sense of love and warmth that has embraced us over the past 4 years. On behalf of our grade, I want to thank every single staff member for showing up for us every day to teach, challenge, nurture, and instill your wisdom in us. We deeply appreciate your dedication, time, patience, and genuine care. It is because of each of you that we've made it here today, and for that, we're so grateful. Thank you to the most incredible group of administrators who go above and beyond for us. Rabbi Grauer, Mr. Rapp, Mrs. Fixler, Mrs. Taylor, Mrs. Weinberg, Mrs. Lipner, Prof., and Mrs. Klein. Thank you for making Ulpanat the extraordinary place that it is. And a special mazel tov to Mrs. Weinberg, who is graduating together with us tonight. Thank you all for recognizing and allowing each girl's unique strength to shine. Your unwavering dedication to Ulpanat speaks volumes. You won't find any other school where girls are crying at the end of the day because they don't want to leave. And of course, thank you to our biggest supporters, our parents. Thank you for being our constant cheerleaders, always believing in us, and for giving us the incredible gift of spending these formative years at a school that has shaped us into who we are. To my incredible parents, thank you for being my biggest role models. I'm so appreciative of your endless love, support, and belief in me. Thank you for always reminding me to be genuine and true to myself. More than anything, thank you for leading by example and modeling what it means to live the life of a Yashar so well. Thank you to my amazing siblings, Daniela and Eitan, and to my grandparents, aunts, uncles, and cousins. You each bring so much joy and love into my life, and I'm so grateful for every single one of you. I love you. Thank you, Hashem, the Ribbono Shel Olam, for guiding me every step of the way, for the countless brachos in my life, the love and support that surround me, and for all the opportunities to grow in my Yiddishkeit to become the best person I can be. Class of 2025, as we venture out into a whole new world, a new fantastic point of view, no one to tell us no or where to go. Oh wait, that's not quite right. As we venture into our whole new world, let's remember a profound teaching from this past week's parak of Pirkei Avos. Uvimakom she'ein anashim hishtadel lios ish. In a place where there is no leader, strive to be a leader. Let us remember to live our lives with arms wide open, because today is where our book begins and the rest is still unwritten. We all have so much potential to live lives that are imbued with yashrus and moral integrity, and my bracha to us is that we fulfill that potential and bring merit to all of Klal Yisrael through the lives we choose to lead. Thank you, and may Hashem bring shalom to Israel and the world.
For today's Siyum, I studied Sefer Daniel. A verse that stood out to me was "Ve'hamas kilim yazhiru kezohar harakia, matzdikei harabim kekochavim leolam vaed." And the knowledgeable will be radiant like the bright expanse of the sky, and those who lead the many to righteousness will be like the stars forever and ever. The phrasing of the pasuk, though, is curious. How is knowledge or a leader bright like a star, as opposed to the sun, or more Jewishly, the moon? The simile doesn't quite work. The Midrash steps in to explain. The sun and the moon dominate the sky, whereas, as explained by Bamidbar Rabbah, just as the stars give honor to one another and there is peace between them, so too the righteous love one another. Just as the stars do not quarrel with one another, so it is with the righteous. This understanding of our pasuk explains that knowledge and leadership are important, but only if accompanied by peace and accord. Knowledge, leadership, peace, these are the defining traits of Jacob Astroff, 2025 Chaim Valedictorian. Jacob is not only a profound intellect, but he leads by example and is an exemplar of viewpoint diversity and has sterling midot. To say nothing of the 3 years prior, here's a sample of Jacob's accomplishments from the last 9 months alone. A subject scholar in Limudei Kodesh, a subject scholar in physics. He sold Hanukkah candles to raise money and awareness for the October 7th hostages. He was recognized at a school assembly for his midot based on faculty feedback. He was on the cross-country team. He is the Gabbai of the main minyan. He is chair of the Chesed committee. He is the compiler of the school's Haggadah, with commentary from students and teachers and himself, with proceeds going to the widows of the IDF. He is a member of Or Chaim's inaugural Sayeret Matmidim program that included after-school learning 3 times a week and writing an article for the student-driven Halacha journal. Jacob's article was on halachic perspectives of using Lego on Shabbat. Jacob is on the cusp of achieving the Duke of Edinburgh's Gold Award, one of only 2 Or Chaim students to ever even approach that level. This past Sunday, yesterday, 1 day before his graduation, Jacob spent the day editing a video of students and faculty sending good wishes to Benji Brown, a YOC alum injured in the line of duty serving for the IDF. Here are a few comments that teachers and students sent to me about Jacob several months ago, before they even knew he'd be valedictorian. These comments were entirely unsolicited. They were sent in simply because people recognize Jacob's greatness. Jacob did a beautiful siyum on his independent learning of Masechet Shabbat. An organization that supports divorced women reached out to us to ask for help in putting up sukkahs. As co-chair of the Chesed committee, Jacob arranged for the students to put these up. I just wanted to let you know of the kindness Jacob Astroff showed to me today. I was a bit late for breakfast, so the table where the grade 10 sit was full. I ended up sitting alone, and Jacob came to sit with me even when he could have sat with his friends in his grade. He made sure I was all right, and we talked until breakfast ended. I am very grateful for his kindness to me. The Bnei Akiva School's mission statement covers 4 general categories. To create a yeshiva environment where religiously committed Jewish boys grow intellectually, socially, emotionally, and religiously. As just described, Jacob has proven his religious, intellectual, and social emotional growth. To arm our students with the methodological tools needed to become self-reliant in classical Jewish texts and disciplines. Is Jacob self-reliant? His multiple siyumim and scholarly articles attest to this. To deepen and strengthen the centrality of Eretz Yisrael and Medinat Yisrael, and stress the importance of Lashon HaKodesh as a manner of achieving these goals. Jacob's 4 years of high Ivrit and impressive Kriya and understanding of our sources is a testament to his commitment to Hebrew and to Israel. To fervently support our students continuing their Judaic studies at Yeshivot in Eretz Yisrael. This coming year, Jacob will be attending Yeshivat HaKotel, which specializes in giving students the tools to learn Gemara independently at the highest level, along with shiurim in Tanakh, Machshava, and Halacha. Antoine de Saint-Exupéry, in The Little Prince, teaches us that it is only with the heart that one can see rightly. What is essential is invisible to the eye. Jacob's heart is his defining attribute, whether referring to his empathy for others or his determination. On the court, in the classroom, and everywhere he steps, Jacob is led by his heart. Jacob has proven himself to be a textbook exemplar of everything Yeshivat Or Chaim stands for, from his interpersonal midot with teachers and peers, to his academic and athletic achievements, to his chesed for those he has never even met. The book of Daniel ends with the verse, Ve'ata, lech leketz v'tanuach v'tamod legoralcha leketz hayamin. But you, go on to the end, you shall rest and arise to your destiny. Jacob, now at the end of your YOC career, arise to your destiny as this year's Nachman Sokol Valedictorian for Yeshiva Chaim.
Thank you, Mr. Parker, for your kind words. Good evening, everyone. It is a true honor to be standing here representing the YOC class of 2025. Our grade is unique. In just 4 years of high school, we experienced many significant global events shaping who we are today. We entered YOC at the tail end of COVID, when people were simply excited to return to normal life. However, it was hard to pinpoint the impact that a life of isolation and Zoom meetings would have on us. Grades 9 and 10 were challenging years. Transitioning into high school was not easy, especially after being out of a social loop for so long. But that's only the beginning of the story. October 7th, 2023, our family was attacked, and the worldwide Jewish community needed people to step up. This event changed our grades outlook. We marched proudly to Washington, D.C. and to Ottawa, showing love to our people. We davened for Am Yisrael. We distributed hostage cards and names of injured Chayalim to everyone at davening to make our tefillah more personal. We raised record-setting chesed funds, like our Hanukkah fundraiser, where we sold candles in honor of hostages, raising funds for widows and orphans of Chayalim. Returning from grad trip, hearing about Israel's increasing conflict with Iran, we made a Siyum on Sefer Tehillim together on the plane to daven for our brothers and sisters in Israel. As Am Yisrael came together after October 7th, and as Am Yisrael is coming together now, so too our grade came together and became united. Boys, we've been through a lot, and now we're here. Chaim is a special place. We have teachers who will consistently leave their families for entire weekends just to spend time with us on Shabbatons and overnight trips. Teachers play basketball with us and win. Rabbeim who will take time out of their day to learn B'chavruta with you. Teachers chase after us during their spare time to help us catch up in their class. One teacher even came to my house for a class barbecue and helped my class review for an upcoming exam. Teachers spend hours creating farewell speeches for students at grad dinner. We have a board and administration that inspires us, for example, by bringing in world-renowned speakers like the Chief Rabbi of Israel or the former Prime Minister of Israel. Parents, this is the school that you sent us to. With that, we owe a huge debt of gratitude to Rabbi Grauer and the entire board and administration for everything you do to give us the best Jewish education possible. Thank you to the Shlichim and Rabbeim for caring for us, inspiring us, and opening your homes to us. Thank you to all the faculty for believing in us and doing everything you can to make sure that we succeed academically. Thank you to all the parents in the room for your continuous belief and support in us and putting us through Jewish Day School. Thank you to my parents. Thank you for being incredible role models, teaching me the importance of a growth mindset, having gratitude to Hashem and to those around me, and the importance of a strong work ethic. I love you both so much. Thank you to my grandparents for coming from Halifax and from Winnipeg to be here today. I love you all. I love you all, and I'm so grateful that you're here with me today. Thank you to my brother Solomon for being a great brother and for always making me laugh. In this week's Parsha, the Meraglim, the spies who scouted out Eretz Yisrael, are criticized heavily for speaking negatively about the land. The Meraglim say, "Vanehi be'einenu kachagavim, v'chein ha'inu be'einehem." We were like grasshoppers in our own eyes, and so too we were like grasshoppers in the eyes of the giants of Eretz Yisrael. I have two questions. Question one, why is this statement bad? Isn't it true that they were much smaller than the giants that lived in Eretz Yisrael? Question two, why did they choose a grasshopper? Furthermore, Rashi, quoting the Gemara in Sota, says that the giants actually referred to them as nimalim, as ants. So assuming this version of Rashi is accurate, why did the spies change it from ants to grasshoppers? I'd like to offer a potential answer. I did some research, and it turns out that contrary to locusts, which we call arbeh, grasshoppers are solitary insects that rarely swarm. When the spies came back, they were saying that the reason they couldn't beat the giants was because they were like chagavim, small, insignificant insects that are alone. Perhaps Rashi is saying that the giants referred to them, perhaps in fear, as ants. Ants work together, and as we know from the story of Yetziat Mitzrayim, small, insignificant insects working together, like arbeh, like locusts, can destroy an entire country and bring the most powerful man in the world, Paro, to his knees. The spies' problem wasn't that they were small in the giants' eyes. Their problem was that they thought of themselves as chagavim, small and no sense of being united with each other and with Hashem. With that mindset, they were destined to lose. In YOC, the feeling could not be more to the contrary. Here is just one example. It was my 18th birthday. I woke up sick, unable to go to school, and feeling really down. I turned my phone on, expecting for there to be no notifications on my phone, because after all, the school day had just begun. I opened my phone, and I had tens of notifications, wishing me refuah shlema and offering me help. Among them was a video sent by my entire Gemara class, wishing me happy birthday and refuah shlema. Even teachers somehow knew it was my birthday and reached out, offering support for upcoming tests. That is YOC. That is this grade. We've pulled together in tough times. We've raised money, davened and rallied for Am Yisrael, supported each other, and achieved what few YOC classes before us have ever done before. So, I think the message is, yes, we as individuals may be small, but when we work together and support each other in difficult times, as I believe this grade has done, we can achieve amazing things. And to all my brothers in my grade, this is not the end. This is just the beginning. I can't wait to see each and every one of you in Eretz Yisrael next year. Thank you, and Am Yisrael Chai.
As is our practice, the graduating classes of Yeshiva or Chaim and Ulpanat Orot took it upon themselves to complete the learning of the entire Tanakh. They will share their Siyum as their lasting gift to the BAS community. This year, the class of 2025 is dedicating the learning to the memory of the Kedoshim in Eretz Yisrael who have made the ultimate sacrifice since October 7th. We honor the IDF soldiers who have fallen in battle, Israeli police officers and first responders killed in action, and honor the memory of the civilian casualties. We had hoped that the war would be over by now. However, as we enter this new stage, this dedication takes on even greater meaning. May the merit of our learning serve to help elevate their neshamot. We'd now like to invite Danielle Cohen and Gila Grauer, who will be completing the Tanakh, and Noah Wolfson, who will be reading the Hadran. The Siyum will be followed by Kaddish, recited by Rabbi Kurtz.
Uvishna achat l'koresh melech paras lichlot devar Hashem bifi Yirmiyahu he'ir Hashem et ruach koresh melech paras ve'yaver kol b'chol malchuto v'gam b'michtav la'amor. And in the first year of Koresh, king of Persia, at the completion of the word of Hashem in the mouth of Yirmiyahu, Hashem aroused the spirit of Koresh, the king of Persia, and he issued a proclamation throughout all his kingdom and put it also in writing, saying,
Ko amar Koresh, Melech Paras, Kol Mamlechut Haaretz, Natan li Adonai Elohei Hashemayim, v'hu pakad alai livnot lo bayit b'Yerushalayim, asher b'Yehuda, mi b'chem mikol amo yihi Adonai Elohav imo v'ya'al. Koresh, the king of Persia, said, Hashem has given me control over all the kingdoms of the earth, and given me the responsibility to build a house for him, the Beit HaMikdash, in Yerushalayim, in the territory of Yehuda. Anyone from Bnei Israel who believes in Hashem should come up and participate, and Hashem will bless you.
Hadron Allah Aser Va'arba'im Sifrei HaTanach Datan Allah Datach Alon Asrim Va'arba Sifrei HaTanach Lo B'nase Minach V'lo Titnase Minan Lo Ba'am Hadam V'lo Ba'am Da'asi Here at Tzalmud Fanacha Adonai Eloheinu V'leya V'seinu Asher Barchar B'nevi'im Tovim V'ratze B'dreihem Hanemarim Be'emes Sheb'zchus Sifrei HaTanach Mimikrei Kodesh Sheb'zchus P'sukeihem V'soveseihem V'sosihem V'nukdoseihem V'ta'amehem V'shmos HaKdoshim V'yotzu Mehem V'zchus Nevi HaEmes Shofti Yisrael V'tzadikei HaDoros Hamuzkarim B'sifrei HaTanach Nizke Elios Noim Adonai Eloheinu Aleinu Masi Yedenu Kananenu Kana Aleinu Masi Yedenu Kanehu Elios Zochim Hayom B'yom Sunasenu B'yom Simchas Libenu L'or Eim Habanim Smecha L'yachet Sor HaTorah Sheb'chsav Im Torah Im Sor Torah Sheba'al Peh B'chudol Shalim B'ahava V'achva Reus Hel HaNeman B'chol Derachav Yamshech Aleinu Shefa Or HaChaim L'nefesh Urach Neshama L'harich Yamenu B'tov B'rias Adonai Kol HaYamim V'harav No Adonai Eloheinu Es Tivei Taratzcha B'finu Fi Amcho Beit Yisrael V'nei Anachnu V'tzetzeinu V'tzetzeei Amcho Beit Yisrael Kulan Yudei Shemecha V'lomdei Tarasecha Lishma V'nismach V'nalas B'divrei Talmud Tarasecha U'v'mitzvaysecha V'chukosecha L'olam V'ed Kihem Chayinu V'orech Yamenu V'hem Nehege Yomam V'layla Hi Adonai Eloheinu Imanu Kasher Hayam Im Avosenu Al Yazvenu V'al Yitshenu Lehetiv L'vavenu Alav V'lechas B'chol Derachov Lishma Mitzvaysav V'chukosav Mishpatav Asher Tziva Es Avosenu Here at Tzalmud Fanacha Adonai Eloheinu V'lei Avosenu Shekshem She'azarsenu L'saim Esrim V'arba Sifrei HaTanach Mimikei Kodesh Kenta Azreinu L'hamshich L'ilmod Sfarim Mi'atorah Sheb'chsav U'mitorah Sheba'al Peh L'sayimam L'ilmod U'lelamed Lishma L'asot Chaim Es Kol Divrei Talmud Tarasecha Be'ava V'nitzke V'nichiyeh V'nira Tova Rachel L'chayel Maba B'schutz HaTorah HaKdosha Sheb'chsav Sheba'al Peh Harshienu Adonai Eloheinu V'kabetzinim Ha'gayim Melech Al Kol Ha'olam Kula B'chvadach V'nase Al Kol Ha'aretz B'karach V'shviya Aleinu Or Yeshua V'rachami Me'aynei Yeshua Amen Ken Yeratzon Yehil Ratzon Imi Fi V'hegan Li B'fanecha Adonai Tzuri V'go Ali.